All right, we are here at another race week. I guess Boulder 70.3 is coming up this weekend. A little bit of awkward timing between Chattanooga and Boulder. I like racing 2 weeks apart. I'm happy to race 1 week apart. That 3 week apart, you have to do a week of pretty hard work. And in the fourth race into this build, and I'm coming into a break right afterwards. It was a little bit hard to get the body ready to do the work in between. It worked out. I got there in the end. I was a little bit more fatigued after Chattanooga. My legs actually felt a little bit worse than they did after Ironman Texas, like 3 and 4 days after the race. I think a little bit of that is because of the downhill running. Obviously takes a little bit more of a toll. Texas was flat, and then also was able to push myself a little bit deeper than I do for more 70.3s. Obviously, when you're able to fight for the win, that helps things out a little bit. But so the recovery was a little bit slower than I would have liked. Obviously, needing to get back into training for another big race to end the block, I had to try to force things back a little bit. So, early on, I was getting the run sensations going as best I could. I used the lever for the full first week. I originally planned on only doing 1 or 2 runs with it early in the week, but ended up extending that out throughout the week just so I could keep the run sensations and feels and kind of help kickstart the recovery without adding to the damage. And so I was able to get back to biking and putting together some pretty good intervals by Wednesday and Thursday. But I needed to keep some pressure off the legs on the run up through the weekend. Last week I spent some time on the Boulder course. Obviously living in the area makes it a little bit easier to do that. I rode the whole course on last Tuesday and did a pretty tough session there. The bike's going to be a fast course if the wind stays at bay, and pretty benign overall. They could have made it a lot worse with some climbs or some sending us on a few different routes, but it'll be 2 loops. So the second loop again will be a lot of age group traffic, so I'll have to manage that, but nothing to worry about there. And then I did the run on Thursday, and I don't tend to like gravel that much or trail that much, and this is like 90% on loose gravel. The run session that I did on Thursday basically, ran all but a half mile of the course essentially, and I think that's definitely helpful. One, just to kind of have a little bit of confidence in knowing what to expect. There's some rollers at the end that could come into play if there's looking like there's going to be a chance for a sprint finish, or things are going to close at the end, kind of similar to Chattanooga. That big hill, at mile 10 to 11 in Chattanooga definitely played to my advantage on race day, and if things are looking to be that way again this year in Boulder, that's good to know, good knowledge to have. Obviously, I would think that most of the guys that I'd be chasing down are going to know the same things that I do, being it's a lot of guys are local, but just any insider knowledge that you can have. And then also there's a lot of washboarding and a lot of loose spots out there, and just kind of getting your eyes on those and getting a feel for what the washboards are feeling like, and what some of the ruts on the more trail side of things are looking like is again just good to know. Yeah, I mean, obviously Boulder is one of the series races, but it's also a race that I've wanted to do. I haven't done the 70.3, and it's a local race, so there's not a ton of risk involved. I'm not investing a lot of funds to go in there. Obviously with the win in Chattanooga, that was on the series standings, that was 2,500 points, and if I'm doing things right, at the end of the year, you're only scoring 2 70.3s, and with 70.3 worlds, potential for 500 points more, I think the math is you can finish like 6 or 7 minutes back from the leader and still get more points than you did for a 70.3 win. And, so like the hope is that from a points perspective, this one won't, I've got the regular 70.3 that I need, then I'll be able to get more than 2,500 at 70.3 Worlds. But, so kind of the question is why race another 70.3? And, I think a little bit is kind of a safety factor. Like if I got a flat at 70.3 Worlds or something like that, I still want to have another good score, and Oceanside definitely wasn't a good score. So, there's that component, but there's also, I've got 6 or 7 opportunities throughout the year to make a living. And, this is another opportunity to race, a big talented field. And, so you can't give those opportunities up. You've got to go and try to get the job done. Obviously 79 guys, I believe, on the start list, which is the biggest field that I think I've been a part of. So that'll change the dynamics a little bit. I expect it to. Obviously, all the series races are you're going to have a solid field. There's going to be a fight up front, and this is no different. It's a wetsuit swim. I'm shivering like crazy right now because I just got out of the water for an open water swim myself, which is about the same temps as the reservoir will be on the weekend. So yeah, I mean, I expect there to be a pretty decent group up front, which is a little bit unfortunate, but hopefully there'll be enough guys that are coming out, kind of that second group that are able to put together a solid bike and kind of work your way up to the front. The way the course is it's going to be a little bit harder to bridge, I think, because it's such a fast course. So it'll be interesting to see how the dynamics go out. Looking at what Sam did on the run course there last year is pretty impressive after running the full course myself. So, it'll be a very different race than Chattanooga was, but that's all part of it. I've been around the block a few times, but you can always get a little bit more experience and be a part of a different dynamic. That's pretty much all I've got for this one. We'll do a video as soon as we can after the race. Hopefully it's another fun post-race video to do, but either way, we'll put it out, so make sure you stay tuned, and we'll see you then.